Welcome to the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. I'm so glad you're here. It's a beautiful day to be outside, and yet you came here. And I know why. I love it here. I just love to start my week with my friends and just in the spirit of so many great people. Welcome to those tuning in today on our love stream. We're now well into the month of April, so we have new music, new guest speakers, a new theme for the month, so look forward to that. Let's sing together one of my favorite Sesame Street tunes. This is Rainbow Connection.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on a morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da dee da dee dum, la da da dee da dum da dee.
Good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome to the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living on a beautiful Sunday spring day. It's so lovely outside, and I'm glad to be here with you. My name is Rob Ekman. I am your service host today. And whether you are joining us here in person in the sanctuary or on our virtual love stream broadcast, we welcome you and are happy that you're here and know that you will experience a blessing here today. Our practitioner doing our reading and leading us in prayer today is Jim Ferris, and our practitioner holding high watch for us is Katie Hernandez. High watch means that Katie will be in prayer for us throughout our service today, knowing the greatest and highest good for all of us and for our experience here. Our center is, a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy of daily living based on spiritual principles and practices that are really universal among all religions. We honor every pathway by which people seek to know and to commune with the divine, and we work on our individual consciousnesses so that we can help make the world a better place. Will you all join me in saying our vision statement, which is up on the screen? We are a thriving community where individually and together we embody and express our spiritual magnificence for the highest good of all. Thank you. Now, if you want to be in contact with us or see what we're up to any time of the day or night, you can do that on our website, which is at www.spirituallyfree.org. Here you can submit a prayer request, find out more about what's going on at the center, anytime at all. Our theme for the month of April is Everyday Living Wonder Through Creativity. And today our message will be offered by Randy Scott. He will be speaking to us on the topic, Say Yes to the Yes. And our special music today will be provided by Sisters Del Ann and Mel. Very excited about that. Next week, we will hear our message from Shemaine Charette on the theme, Dance with the Donkey. And that's all I have to say about that. We would like to welcome anybody that's joining us for the very first time today. If you're here for the first time and are willing to let us welcome you, would you please raise your hand so that we can see you? Hello, welcome. Here's another. Thank you for joining us. We're thrilled that you're here, and be sure to pick up a welcome packet from outside in the lobby before you go that has some information about us, as well as a Science of Mind magazine that is really full of some amazing affirmations and daily thoughts. Furthermore, the first announcement I'll make is that today after this service, we will have a new members orientation meeting. And that will be right here in the classroom behind the stage. It's a great opportunity to learn more about us and learn how you can become a member of the center, as well as meeting some new friends. And there will be pizza. Yes, some pizza. A reminder that our youth church is back up and running, and they are teaching principles such as love, creativity, mindfulness, and community, all specially tailored to your children ages 5 to 12. That check-in begins every Sunday in the lobby at about 10:15. So please consider sharing that message with friends that you know who have young ones that would benefit from this. Excuse me. Our monthly Taze ceremony will take place Wednesday, April 13th at 7 o'clock here in the sanctuary. This is an hour-long ritual. It's really beautiful. It's full of prayer and chanting and music and silence, and is a wonderful way to experience a beautiful, refreshing pick-me-up midweek, nice grounding experience. So please consider joining us on April 13th. We have a number of events and workshops coming up, and we need event volunteers. People who would like to participate by helping to set up or to serve food or to decorate. There's a sign-up sheet in the lobby, and one of the great fringe benefits is that if you are an event volunteer, you get to attend that workshop or event for free. So please consider sharing some of your time with us. A gentle reminder to please keep your vehicles in the parking lot locked and secure, and to keep anything inside that's valuable hidden. We want your things to be safe while you're here in service, and so please be mindful of what you've got going on out in the parking lot. Starting on April 26th, for 5 Tuesdays, Reverend Myrna Hurst will be offering Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. Of course, this is one of the mantras of the Centers for Spiritual Living. This is going to be taught, is it a hybrid of online and in person? Thank you. And signups for it are out in the lobby also, and that again is beginning on April 26th. 2 weeks ago, we were thrilled to hear from our dear friend Christy-Ann Turner, who donated a number of her book, Playing Games with Purpose, to us, and they're available to you on a donation basis in the lobby. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to pick one of those up. And now I would like to invite Reverend Myrna Hurst up for a special announcement and recognition.
I'm sorry, I can't help myself. We just finished a class. It was called Spiritual Principles and Practices, and we have a number of people who took that class who have now graduated. I would like to invite them up and give them their certificates for being in the class. Who's willing to come up? Come on. Oh, there you go. Come on up here. Yeah. Come on over here where we can see you. I have to stay where there's a mic, but you all don't. Anybody else? There we go. That's not everybody. We had a number of students, but I do want to give you your certificates if you're hanging out here. Steve Ball. There. That would be you. Teresa Flanagan is not walking out because I know her. Yeah. And, are you coming up? Bless your heart.
I'm not coming up, but you can just give it.
Okay.
Yay, Teresa.
Hey, Annie, Karen, Miguel, there you are, my darling. Thank you. It was fun to have you in class. And Shandy Kiefer. Yeah. Teresa Lasher is not, she's in California. Oh, yeah. So we're not going to talk about that. Teresa Martin was not only a student in the class, but was my TA. Thank you. Steve Matthews, that big tall guy over there. She made sure Ed is not here, and Teresa is right down on the floor. So, thank you. I hope the class is.
Congratulations. Our center is founded on and grounded in the principle of prayer. This helps us deal with whatever comes our way, helps create a positive experience for each of us, regardless of conditions or situations. Our professional prayer practitioners spend 4 years in training in the art and science of affirmative prayer. And these practitioners are ready and want to pray for you and with you. You can write a prayer request in the lobby. You can do this on our website. And know with peace in your heart that our practitioners are praying for you all throughout the week. You can also connect with one of our practitioners here in person today, and you can recognize those good folks by the purple stoles that they're wearing over their shoulders. All right, finally, I invite you to please settle in and allow Jim Ferris's reading and the centering music to take us to that sacred space within. And then Jim will lead us in prayer.
Today, our reading is called Divine Creativity. It's adapted from 365 Science of Mind, A Year of Daily Wisdom by Ernest Holmes. Since spirit is all there is, the only presence, the only creative intelligence, when we conceive a new idea, we are thinking directly from the creativity of the divine. It is not our isolated, limited human personality that projects this new idea. We are a uniquely designed instrument through which this creative idea manifests. We are in partnership with Spirit, the divine creator. In this sense, Spirit is in the latest invention, the newest song, the latest novel, the last picture that was painted. And more importantly, in that feeling we have of new and greater things to come. For Spirit is all there is. There is nothing else. Spirit is both the inventor of the game and those who play in it, the author and actor, the singer and the song. And the following quote is from Paramahansa Yogananda, a contemporary of Ernest Holmes. He brought Eastern wisdom to the West, teaching its truth was the same truth that Jesus taught. And I quote, "God is the real source and inspiration of all the good in life. Inspiration, creative power, and energy flow into you when you attune yourself to the infinite mind during meditation. By communing with the cosmic vibration, you will increase the receptivity of your intuition. Within you lies the sea of infinite knowledge and creativity. Consider every season of your life a time for further expansion of your mind, that it always vibrate Christ consciousness, extending divine bliss from you to all beings." End quote. And now a brief quote from a contemporary of ours, an amazing singer and speaker, Shemaine Charette. "When the spirit that moves through all things moves through me, it sings its way out into the world again."
I surrender. I surrender to the power and presence of God, to the power and glory of God within me. I surrender. I surrender to the power and presence of God, to the power and glory of God within me. I surrender. I surrender to the power and presence of God, to the power and glory of God within me. I surrender. I surrender to the power and presence of God, to the power and glory of God within me.
Sitting in that still space, in that divine place that lives within the center of my being, I feel the presence of love, unconditional in every way, always loving its creation, pouring through each part of its creation, emanating peace, light, and love throughout the universe. This sacred space is ever expansive, for God is everywhere present. Beyond the Milky Way, universes constantly being created by the creative source of all that is. Feeling I am a part of that wholeness, that beauty, that good. Knowing that all around me are shining that light back to me when I look them in the eyes. It is this peaceful presence, this brilliant sun within, that is life moving in, through, and as us, right here and now. As we celebrate this gathering, together joining our voices in song, creatively singing our hearts out into the universe for all beings, everywhere present, to witness the divine presence in all. I am so grateful for this awareness, this consciousness, this joy. It permeates my being, and I see it vibrating all around me as we sing here today and enjoy the wisdom shared with us by our guest speaker. So together today, let us all say, and so it is.
To a huge extent, we have created our lives. And if you look back on it, all those divine moments, even all the challenging ones, it makes for a great story. It is wonderful to engage with your creativity, the power you have to create your life, the rest of your life. And the rest of your life is still unwritten. That's what this song's about. It's called Unwritten.
I am unwritten, can't read my mind, I'm undefined. I'm just beginning, the pen's in my hand, ending unplanned. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. I'll break tradition. Sometimes my tracks are outside the lines. Yeah, we've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. No, staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten.
It's my pleasure to introduce our special music today. These two young women have been so instrumental, not only in the vibrance of the music of our center, but in the heart of our center. There's nothing like the harmony of family, the harmony of two sisters singing together. And that exudes a mental equivalent for all of us of what could be. These are some of the brightest lights in our community, and so just bask in the harmony of these wonderful musicians, Dylan Haslam and Mel Menlove.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you. This is called I Am Light.
Yes, you are.
I am light, I am light. 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 I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light, 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 I am light. I am not the mistakes that I made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light, 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 I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I'm not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. All light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am light. Oh, light. Oh, light. Thank you.
Delanne and Mel, everyone. Thank you. Just beautiful. All right, it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, someone who is no stranger to speaking to this group and filling us with motivation and self-power. I'd like to introduce author, mentor, and speaker, Randy Scott.
Hi, my friends. I am so happy to be here. I love the music that is here. That song, I Am Light, I listen to that on K-Love. It shows up, and such a beautiful song. And to be able to rock Natasha Bedingfield here, can't get any better. The monthly theme, as far as living everyday wonder through creativity, that seems pretty straightforward. Now, say yes to the yes has had me perplexed. I am grateful, though, that I don't have to have something about a donkey, right? Next week is going to be super interesting. As I was thinking about say yes to the yes and how it applies to creativity, it's like, what does that really mean? And as I was pondering on it, what came to mind was a book by Greg McKeown on essentialism. And one of the things that he says, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Right? And so if you think about it, how many times do we say yes to something that we're lukewarm about? How many times do we fill our lives and become so busy by saying yes that we haven't learned to say no? So, to me, make your yeses count, right? Say no more often. And the reason I think this applies to creativity is because the more we say no, the more that we open up time for ourselves to ponder, to contemplate, to let creativity grow. James Clear said that if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have any. So as we think about our lives and our priorities, if we focus on our priorities, we move those forward. And if we say no more, we open up time for us to be able to be creative. Creativity for me is such an important thing. So what is creativity? Jim talked about it in the beautiful message that he shared. Creativity is connection with the divine, right? Creativity is using our inspiration and our intuition. It's leveraging our imagination. Now, one of the things that, as I was thinking about this in creativity, is there are a number of schools of thought. You know, we know that the divine is in and through everything. But there are also these concepts that everything exists right now that is past, present, and future. Some people call it, like Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden call it the quantum field. In the Bible, it's known as the Book of Life. It's also known as the Akashic Records. And as I've studied spirituality and science, for example, Leonardo da Vinci had drawings of a helicopter and an airplane back when he lived. Nikola Tesla had a patent for the cell phone way before it was feasible. If you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphs, there are pictures of helicopters and spacecraft. And so there's something to it. Also, for example, when the Wright brothers were working on the airplane, there were other people as well working on an airplane, and they didn't have any communication. So there's something to that. When I think of creativity, the thing that I think of most are kids. Right? Kids are amazingly creative. They have amazing imaginations. And I believe the reason is they have not been programmed with the thieves of creativity. So what are these thieves of creativity? Fear, attachment, and comparison. Right? When we are afraid that we're not good enough, when we're afraid of what other people think, we get small. We don't use our creativity. When we attach to the way that something's been done, and this is the way that you do it, we lose creativity. I had an interesting example yesterday. I took all my kids out to lunch, and my second oldest son, he's like 24, and we both got a seafood cocktail, and it had shrimp in it. Now, my whole life, the way that I have eaten shrimp is I grab it, I dip it in the cocktail sauce, I eat it until I get to the hard part, I put it down. That's the way I've done it. My son, he grabs it, he pulls off the thing before he even starts. And the secret there is you get about that much more shrimp, which is awesome. And so he pulls all those off, puts it in, and then he just puts a cocktail sauce around the whole thing. So I learned a new way to eat seafood cocktail because I chose non-attachment. Super powerful. And the last one is comparison. A lot of times when we compare ourselves with other people, we think that we should do it another way, or we think we're not good enough. And so comparison is another thief of joy. A couple examples of the way that I always learn from my kids. But when my oldest son was about 6 years old, I was upstairs and the toilet had flooded in the master bathroom. And so water was going all over the floor. And so there was a cup on the tub, and so I grabbed the cup and I started, trying to put it in the tub. And I asked my 6-year-old son, I said, go downstairs and grab something to help. I figured he was going to grab a cup. He goes down and he grabs a dustpan. Do you know how much more efficient a dustpan is at getting water off the floor? It was brilliant. It was brilliant because he didn't have the programming. Another one is my oldest daughter. She's on the autism spectrum, and she's just amazing. I can always trust her. She won't candy coat anything. She tells me how it is. But when she was younger, about 7 or 8, she'd always say, Dad, let's do an experiment. And that always meant she wanted to cook something. Spaghetti with chocolate syrup and crunched up potato chips? Okay. But if we think about it, all of the food that we eat today was an idea of somebody else. Right? Some are hits, some are misses. I would have hated to have been the person that figured out which mushrooms are good. Right? Oh, that one killed him. That one sent him out to outer space. Those are good. Okay. The Buddhists have a concept called Shoshin, and it means the beginner's mind. And it's something that I've practiced since I learned it, but it's taking the time to experience things as it were for the first time. And it's powerful because you're not attaching, oh, this is the way a grape tastes. This is the texture. This is when you try and experience it for the first time, because the first time for anything is always awesome. And so as we try and practice that, it allows us to develop our creativity as well. So one of the things is leveraging our imagination. Our imagination is creative. That's how we create. And a couple exercises that I do with my clients, one of them, like when we do a brainstorming session, instead of saying, okay, what are we going to do this year? How are we going to be successful? What I do is say, it is April 3rd, 2023. We had the most amazing year ever. How did we do it? So instead of going into this, oh, we can't do that or we can't do that, we just throw out ideas. And some of them are silly and some of them are far-fetched, but I've had some amazing ideas coming because you can't refute something that's already been done. So if it's a year in the future and this is what we did it. So it's a super powerful exercise. I do it myself every year as well. Another exercise is creating your superhero. And our superhero is who we are 5 years from now. Where do we want to be? Who do we want to be like? How do we want our relationships? And so as we use our imagination to create our superhero, we get super clear, and clarity is power. And then what we do is we create a list. Okay, if that's who they are, what do they do? What are the things that they do to be that type of person? And then you can start seeing if you can do some of those today. So you can be your superhero even faster. So those are a couple ways that we can use our imagination. There's a quote, and it says, "Love is pure creative energy at its highest level. Love expressed in human form actualizes our divine self." And this kind of goes along with the message that Jim gave. As we come from a place of love, we express our divine self. Because fear is a really poor use of imagination. We think of the worst case scenarios, this is going to happen, and we make ourselves small. When we come from a place of love and express ourself as divine, that's how we express our creativity. The next portion is about partnershiping, being a partner with the divine. Because the divine always says yes. Like in the Princess Bride, where he says, "As you wish," right? If you say, "I'm not good enough," "As you wish." "I'm awesome," "As you wish." That's another way of saying yes to the yes. The universe always says yes. So in creating a partnership with the divine, one of the things that I've said is the what and the why are up to me, and the how and the when are up to the divine. And as I do that, I can be super clear on what I want and why I want it, and then I can let the rest go, and it will show up. It will show up. At the same time, a lot of times, well, all the time, the divine thinks way bigger than we do, way bigger, and thinks in ways that maybe we didn't think of. When I started Empowerment 6 years ago, I figured I'd be coaching executives for the rest of my life, and the universe goes, "Oh, silly little human." And so I was guided into teen suicide. Still meets my mission, still meets my vision. I was led into addiction and reintegration of convicts. Still meets my mission. I was led into plant medicine. Still meets my mission. And so when we trust the divine, we get led into places that are much more beautiful than we could have ever imagined. There's a quote by Ernest Holmes, and he says, we are in the laboratory of the divine. What then shall we create?" Have you ever asked the divine what it wants to create through us? It's a very powerful question. When we choose to be a vessel and say, what do you want to create through me? It's magical. I write music, and I've got a notebook where I've got different songs, and I can tell the songs that I tried to create versus the ones that came through me. Because I've got for every 20 songs that I tried to create, there's one song that came through me, and that's the one that's finished. All the other ones are incomplete, and it's oh, that's cute. There's another quote by David Walker. He says, "You are worth more than you will ever experience, but you will only experience what you think you're worth." Okay? You are worth more than you will ever experience, but you will only experience what you think you're worth. So as we look at ourselves, do we believe in our divinity? Do we really, have we gotten rid of the programming and the fear-based stuff that says we're not good enough, that says we're not divine? Another quote that goes along with that by Gary Zukav, he says, "Choosing is the act of creation. The most important choices you make are the choices about how you see yourself, the universe, and your relationship to the universe." So how do we see ourselves? And how do we see the universe? Is it a loving universe? Is it out to get us? As you wish. As you wish. I've always given the example of the puzzle, and each of us have unique puzzle pieces. Each puzzle piece only goes in a certain spot, and we have those puzzle pieces. We are valuable. We are unique, but we don't see the whole puzzle. And so we have the master puzzle maker that sees everything and knows how and when something goes into place. And do we trust the puzzle maker? I had a super interesting experience last Saturday, not yesterday, but the Saturday before. I decided to go on a motorcycle ride. It was a beautiful day, and that night, my 9-year-old daughter had a dance program up in North Ogden, and so I needed to be to that. But I thought, I'm going to go for a ride, and then I'll be back in time. And I left at about 11:30, and the place is about an hour away. There's an old Sinclair station in Alberta, which is south in Utah Valley, south of Utah Lake. And it's kind of a landmark for all the bikers. And I've known about it for years, never went out there, and I thought, I'm going to go out there. And so I jump on my bike, and I'm heading out there, and I get a little south of Saratoga Springs, and I see a biker on the side of the road. And there were a couple bikes in front of me, there was a bike behind me, but I get this clear message, pull over, dude. So I pull over and said, hey, what's going on? Is there anything I can do? And this guy's a bike mechanic, and he was about 5 miles from his house. He was just testing out what he was doing with the bike, and he got a flat tire. And he left his cell phone at home. And so I said, hey, dude, take my phone, go ahead and make some calls. And so he calls his wife, and she doesn't pick up. And he texts her, and there's no answer. And I said, hey, I can give you a ride over there. And he's like, don't want to leave the bike. If I leave the bike, there have been a lot of bike thefts because bikes are alone. I said, that makes sense. And so we sat there and talked for 10 or 15 minutes. He says, let me just text her, let her know where I'm at, and you can go on your way. I said, cool. So he texts her, I jump on the bike, I go out to the Sinclair station. There are about 12 bikers out there, so I sit and talk for a while, have a good time. And then I'm heading back. And normally my bike gets 130 to 140 miles for a tank. And at 123.3 miles, I ran out of gas. Now, and this was like in the middle of nowhere on the west side of Utah Lake. Now, in all my 55 years, I have never run out of gas. Not in a car, not in a bike, not in an airplane. I have never run out of gas, and I run out of gas. And so whenever something like that happens, I always ask myself 2 questions. How is this perfect, and what do I get to learn? So I'm on the side of the road. There's a fence, like a barbed wire fence, and then there's the lake and the mountain, and I'm sitting there, and I would have missed that because when you're on a motorcycle, you really have to focus, and you don't get the view as deeply. And so I'm sitting there, and the only people I know are like an hour to 2 hours away, and if I got them and they came, I would miss or be late for my daughter's dance program. And so I think, this is cool. And then I remembered that he had called his wife, and I had her number. So I called, and her name's Jamie. And I said, hey, did you get a hold of your husband? Did you get things taken care of? He said, yeah, we put it on the trailer. We got everything taken care of. And I said, can I talk to your husband? I said, hey, Jody, how'd you like to return a favor? Now, this was a good exercise for me because one of the things that I get to work on is being a better receiver, right? How many of us are like that, right? We love to give, but we're too independent, we're too prideful to ask for help. It's a good exercise. And so I said, hey, can you help me out, Joey? He says, absolutely. He says, I'll be right out. And so he calls about 10 minutes later. He said, hey, I just had a customer come, but my wife is already on her way. We'll get you taken care of. And so about 10 minutes later, Jamie showed up. She was with a guy named Santiago. All 3 of these are now good friends of mine. They help me out, and they say, we're going to just follow you and make sure you make it to the gas station. So they follow me. I get to the gas station. Everything's cool. I lived a miracle. I saw instant karma. All of us created a miracle. I was able to see my daughter's program, and I was grateful for that experience. Now, what if I hadn't listened? What if I hadn't pulled over? I would have been hosed, right? The last thing I wanted to talk about is just real quickly, what are the things that we can do? What are the tools that we can use to expand our creativity? One of them is journaling. Try journaling without editing yourself. Try journaling without editing yourself. We've been programmed and taught to edit ourselves. I used to do journaling, and it was like, don't want my great-grandchildren to know about that. Right? So now what I do is I journal for me. I have the password-protected doc that I use, and if I want to rant, I can rant. If I want to create, I create. And some of the most beautiful things have come from there, and some of the most healing things have come from there. Another tool is imagination meditation, right? And so an example of that would be when you're thinking about your superhero. Spend some time, spend some imagination, be in a meditative state. What does that really look like? Another thing is practicing non-attachment. Try doing things different ways, right? The more attached we get to something, the more the neural network and the neural pathways get embedded. When we try and switch things up, our brain becomes more malleable. We learn that there are new ways to do different things. Another thing is treat life as a game, right? Treat life as a game. We're not getting out of here alive, guys, right? We take things way too seriously, right? When it's game over, it's game over. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. And then the last thing, the one thing that I've done for the last 20 years is life hacking. I have I have taken between 3 and 6 months, I will pick a new thing to life hack about, whether it be mental, emotional, or physical. And I see what works for me, right? If you look at the food pyramid and it says, 2,000 calories a day, blah, 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 blah. I've eaten 500 calories a day for the last 2 years, doing great. That's what works for me. I've tried polyphasic sleeping. I've tried all kinds of different things to see what works for me. We're unique. See what works for you. Use yourself as a laboratory. So in summary, what I'd like to do is kind of do a short meditation as we close. And I'd like for us to I'm going to ask 3 questions. So I'll ask a question and then just give a minute to see what shows up for you. Okay, so let's close our eyes. Let's take a few deep breaths. And the first question is, what does the divine want to create through me? The next question is, how am I feeding my imagination and creativity? And the last question is, what are my unique puzzle pieces? So as we close, may we all recognize our divinity and our connection to the divine. And we realize that we live in a world of creativity, where everything around us was an idea of someone that has gone before. And have gratitude for those that have chosen to create and express their creation, that we may enjoy that. As we go through our lives, may we learn what the important yeses are in our lives. May we say no more often so that we may open up space for contemplation, inspiration, intuition, and creation. May we recognize that we are always in partnership with the divine if we choose. And the divine will always say yes. May we look at our individual lives. May choose to come from love. May we choose to express our divinity. As together we say, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Let's have a round of applause for Randy Scott. Beautiful message. Great things to think about. This is the part of our service where we practice conscious giving. The center is here for you and is supported by you and by your generous donations for all of our programs and everything we offer here. So I'd like to remind us that there is only one Spirit in and of and through all. Because it is in everything, it is in us, it is in each of us, it is in each of our affairs, and it is in each of our pocketbooks. And as we say yes to the yes, we're reminded that this divine flow happens in the giving, happens in the receiving. I'd like to invite the ushers to come forward. And whether you give via the basket that goes around or via text to give, however it is, and to whatever you give, take it in your mind, in your heart, and in your hand, and join me in saying our giving affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be, and so it is.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need
Yes to yes. Let's have Mel and Deland share some more special music with us. We're gonna sing this marvelous song all about resilience. The words are powerful and the music is a whole lot of fun. And this will make you tap your toes, I think.
Trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I show up at the table again and again and again. I close my mouth and learn to listen. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa. Shifted, it's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out front. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigning on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system right down to its knees. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Uplift the negative. I show up at the table again and again and again. I close my mouth and learn to listen.
Thank you.
Thank you to the band. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you to the amazing band.
Melanie and Deland, awesome. Wow, great music. Great talk, Randy. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've got to listen to that like 3 more times. There's so many wise gems in what you shared with us today. Thank you so much. So let's feel into this springtime, this wonderful creativity in nature. All the messages it can teach us. Carry those things that Randy and the rest of us in the music and the message here, and make the best out of your week. Bless you all. let's stand and sing, Love Is My Decision.